Hello YouTubers, and welcome to a new video of Arepas for Dinner. For the ones who don't know me, my name is Andrea and I do videos about my life in the Czech Republic. Lately, I've been focusing more on my pregnancy because I'm now in my third trimester and that has become a huge part of my life. But if you didn't notice, I'm back on doing videos on Czech Republic because they just announced that some measures are gonna be lessened and some things are gonna start to open, and suddenly I stopped hating Czech Republic. So definitely it was not the country, it was the measures. So in today's video, we are gonna talk about how to stop being an expat. So an expat is a term that a lot of people have been used for living abroad. And in Czech Republic, you have a lot of expats because there's many companies hiring people that have different language skills. And you have people from Italy, from France, from all over Europe, from Mexico, so many Mexicans, from Colombia. I know a few Venezuelans, not that many, but as well as from like Lebanon and Israel and like all over the place. So this list I create for those who actually want to stop being expats, that actually want to settle in the Czech Republic and that you didn't come for 1 or 2 years, but you actually want to live here and belong. So these are my tips on how to stop being an expat in Prague. Also, before I start the list, remember to subscribe and to click that bell button to get notifications every time I post a video. I do it every Tuesday, but nevertheless, it's better when you click the notification button. The number one tip is to get local friends. That might seem like obvious thing, but for expats, it has been a little bit hard to make local friends because Czech are very particular. But I made an entire video on how to make Czech friends. You can check that out. I'm gonna leave it at the end of this video so you can check that out. And yeah, that's one of the biggest recommendations. I've been an expat pretty much everywhere. I lived in US, I lived in Spain, and in both those places, I was friends with the locals. In Spain, all my friends were from Spain. And when I was in US, most of my friends, if not all, well, most, because Cubans are like Cuban Americans. So yeah, I mean, most of my friends were also Americans. And now that I'm in Czech Republic, also most of my friends are Czech. I do keep some expat friends, but I'm gonna talk about that later on. Number 2, learn the language. And that is hard, again, in the Czech Republic because Czech language is very difficult. I also have an entire video on that. Gonna leave it as well at the end of this video so you can check that out. But yeah, I mean, just do the effort, just try to understand, learn the basic phrases, and just give yourself time. I've been living here for 3 years, but pretty much 1 year has been pandemia, so I don't count it like 3 years because I've been out of the social life for 1 year pretty much. But yeah, I mean, try to speak the language, and when you don't speak it, always apologize for not speaking it because you are living in their country. So that's the best you can do. I go anywhere and I'm like, prosím vás, mluvíte anglicky? And when they're like, trošku, and I'm like, pardon, protože můj čeština je špatná. And it's like, my Czech is very bad, I'm so sorry. And when they speak to me, I'm like, your English is perfect, I'm so sorry for not speaking English, for not speaking Czech. Because that feels friendly to a person who's local. They shouldn't be the ones speaking English, we should be the ones learning the language. Even though I want everybody to speak English, that's the truth. Number 3. Understand the political and social background of the place you are in. Understand who's the president, how the system works, how the politics work, how the social system work, because even if you don't like it, it's very important that you understand it. That way you can create an informed opinion about it, and it's okay to have an opinion about it, especially if your opinion is to improve the system. For example, a lot of you guys know, if you follow me on Instagram, that I'm not a fan of the Czech health system, especially because it doesn't offer real private health. Like, you don't have big, huge private hospitals when you can get like hospitalization paying or by private insurances. And also getting a private insurance is very complicated, especially when you compare it, for example, with Spain. So yeah, I'm a critic of the health system of the country, but before that I read a lot about the health system. I try to understand where it comes from and where it's going, and I think that makes your opinion more valid as an expat because you start sounding more as a local than as an expat. Number 4, that is mingle with your neighbors. So in our case, we are very lucky to have like some neighbors that are working with Jan at the same time. Mingling with your neighbors really makes you feel that you belong. And to mingle with the neighbors can be as simple as maybe when somebody new moves in, you can do the very non-Czech tradition thing to do to bring them some present. Or as well, you can, for example, if you're going to throw a party in your house, you can invite your neighbors. That's something I used to do in Prague. And now that I think about it, I was friends with my neighbors when I was living in the apartment. Yeah, because I usually invited them to my parties. I don't know, that made me feel much more integrated with the culture and with the people around me, and I invite you to do the same. Number 5, don't forget who you are. I think sometimes when we move to places, we just want to adopt everything from that place, and it's fine, but I've discovered that that doesn't bring the ultimate happiness. So in my case is don't forget who I am and where I'm coming from. So I still go to my local Venezuelan restaurant, I still go purchase Venezuelan products, and as well I still purchase some American products because I lived in US, and some Spanish products because I lived in Spain. For example, this week is Spanish week at Lidl, and hello, where do you think I'm heading like right after I record this video? Number 6, go home often so you don't get too homesick and you start hating where you live in. At least it works for me that if I go home at least once a year, I come from very far away. It's Venezuela. It's very far away, and economically it's very, very far away because the flight tickets are extremely expensive to Venezuela. Even though I make the effort and I travel there once a year, and when I do that, I tend to be happier and more grateful to be here because I see things here that I don't have there, and vice versa. So that's my suggestion. If you really wanna just enjoy Prague and enjoy the place you are, if you're an expat, long-term expat, then maybe go visit home more frequently. Number 7, accept what you cannot change, but shape what you can. Meaning, there's many things of the new culture of Prague that I'm unable to change. Those things, they have to stay like that, and I have to stop fighting against them if I want to be happy. That's the truth. But I do have some voice on the things that I feel that I can change. For example, I cannot change that people wear socks with flip-flops. That's not a thing. But I can change, for example, the fact that people remove their shoes when they get to their houses. In my house, you don't remove the shoes, for example. That way, that's something that is cultural, that is from here. I do remove my shoes when I go to other people's houses, but I tell all my guests to please don't remove their shoes when they come to my house. It's just something small, but remember, just change what you can and what you don't like, but there's some things you won't like, you won't be able to change, and you will have to accept. Number 8, feel free to introduce new foods and new food habits to your own. For example, in Venezuela, we tend to have pretty big-ish breakfast, like everybody has like arepas or empanadas, like pretty big, at least in my house. Then the lunch are also like pretty big, full lunches, and then the dinners that are like tiny and they're like at 9 p.m. Here is very different. For example, the habits here, food-wise, involve much more, probably much more like dips and creams and bread. Than my culture. The dinner is way earlier than in my culture. So yeah, I didn't introduce every habit, but I did introduce some, and it's fine. And it actually helps a lot when you go to somebody's house or you go somewhere else and it pretty much already feels like home. It doesn't feel too weird, if you know what I mean. Number 9, and this one is important, that is honor your language. So in our case, we're gonna see it through our baby. So yeah, we are planning to teach her Czech, of course, because my husband is Czech, so of course she's going to be learning Czech, but as well Spanish has to be a huge part of her life, because not honoring your language and just simply adopting the new language of where you're living is not going to work in the long run. Remember, we're all smarter in our own language. Number 10, if you have kids, don't let your family become the foreign family. It's very important that, I don't have kids yet, but Alicia is coming, and it's very important that if your parents can travel here, you can travel there, you can Skype every day for a few minutes. That's important because you don't want your family to become like a foreign, distant, I don't know who they are type of family to your kid. That's my opinion, and I think that's going to bring a lot of happiness into our lives, just to feel that even though my parents are not here, they're as integrated and as participant in my children's life as my parents-in-law. Number 11, and this one, now that the things are finally open back in Prague, or opening back very soon, is the enjoy local things that are happening. Enjoy local theater, enjoy farmers market, and enjoy the local runs when they do that, the ferias, like all the local things that are going around. just participate and be part of them, because those are going to make you feel much more integrated as well to the culture. Number 12, and I suck in this one because I am sometimes when I'm in a bad mood with Czech Republic, I criticize it so much, and it's true. But try to criticize the country only with your very close friends, your significant other, or your parents, or some like other people that is like not Czech. Because imagine how you would feel if somebody goes to your country and they just hate everything there. Eventually, you won't want to hang around this person. It's okay to dislike some things, and to dislike many things at times is fine. It's just that I've discovered with time that it's better to keep some of those things to yourself, or to just talk about it with your close circle, than to put it out there. Unfortunately, unless you're gonna do something about it and something to change that issue, then maybe don't. Number 13, if you have expat friends, like for example, I have a few, integrate them. Because if you do have a lot of Czech friends, for example, if you, like me, have a significant other that is Czech, then maybe just bring your expat friends to the group so they can integrate with you. Many of them are not gonna like it, and probably they won't want to go again with your with your local friends, but many of them are gonna appreciate the effort, and you might help them to integrate better and stop being an expat. Number 14 is don't be afraid to date local. I've seen a lot of people just mingling and getting together with the people of their own nationality, but I have to be honest, Czech people are super open to foreigners, in my opinion and in my experience, thank goodness. But yeah, I feel that it's very easy to get like a international relationship here, meaning he's Czech and you're expat, or he's expat and you're Czech, or whatever. And I encourage that. I find that to be it helps a lot with living in a foreign country. I think it would be very hard for me. I don't think I would be living here directly if my husband wasn't from here. And I think it was very hard for us when both of us were foreigners and living in the US. It was a little bit hard. Even though I do feel US to be like my second home, at the same time, I feel if none of you are from the place you are at, I mean, it's doable, but if you're gonna start dating, I'm just saying be very open to date locals as well. And the last one, the number 15, is as your significant other, your friends, as you're gonna respect their culture, you should as well ask for some respect of your own culture. That for me was very simple. Nobody like questioned it too much, and everybody was pretty much like, just go with the flow. Whatever I criticize, they feel more free to criticize. Whatever I say I like, or they feel more like that. And I know many of them criticize so much that Jan travels so often to Venezuela because everybody's like, oh, it's so dangerous, it's this and that. And it's fine because it's true, but at the same time, well, at least they're not saying it to my face. I mean, it sounds terrible, but it's better that way. And that was it, guys. This was the video of the 15 things that you can do to integrate better to the culture and stop being such an expat. It's okay to be an expat, but as you can tell by already my lifestyle here, I don't want to live like an expat anymore. I don't want to have roommates, share the small apartment in the city center, and live out of fun and partying. I really want to start like a real life. A baby is on the way, and we are creating a real family here. So yeah, I want to become more integrated with the culture and the country. And I think all these tips and following these tips really help. So that was it. Remember to follow me on Instagram, to like this video, very, very important. I really appreciate when you guys like the video. Makes me feel very good about what I do and the time that I dedicate to shooting and editing these, because, well, it's something I want to keep doing. And that's it. I'll see you next Tuesday with a new video. Remember, on Tuesday, the video is going to be what's going on with my pregnancy, where I was standing with the nursery, all that. And at the same time, I'm gonna show you where I'm gonna go do a physiotherapy that I'm actually going today. My very good friend owns the place, and I am so excited to see what they have to offer and to show you, because I know so many moms out there in the Czech Republic are looking for physio and they have no idea where to get their massages, their exercises, their tips. They don't know where to go, and I think this place is going to be great. So I'm going to be shooting that today, and for sure it's going to come next Tuesday together with the pregnancy update. Bye bye.